She's over here making sure that the drone's all set up, and I am going to sip my coffee while she flies it around. There she goes. So what are we doing?
We are at the Hunter Creek trailhead in the Truckee River watershed, and we're gonna see if we can collect some macroinvertebrates today.
Hell yeah. We got the dip net.
Yeah.
Just learned what that was, like yesterday.
Yeah, this thing is called a dip net. It's got some really thin mesh so you can really catch the bugs.
It's so pretty. Just look at the flowers. It's all blooming.
I feel like we should come in over here, yeah? Oh yeah, there's some perfect habitat to collect over here. It's so pretty. I'm so excited.
Now hold on for a second. You might be asking yourself, why should I care about macroinvertebrates? Well, first off, I think they're pretty freaking cool. I mean, you'll see in a little bit, but today we're going to be focusing on benthic macroinvertebrates, which are bottom-dwelling aquatic worms, crustaceans, and various forms of aquatic insects. These guys are super important indicators of water quality because they aren't very mobile. They're not really able to escape the effects of pollution and sedimentation like a fish could. Now, some species are more tolerant of this than others, but in general, the species composition in a given stream will tell a story of the types of habitat and levels of pollution in the water.
I think I might want to go back to the car and get my wading shoes. It's too cold.
Put your grippers away.
I'm gonna put them away. Finally, waders are on. Okay, so before I get in, I want to talk about the stream substrate. That essentially refers to the stream bed. Think of substrate as soil, but in a stream. So in a tributary system like this, you'd expect to see more gravel and cobble, which are kind of baseball, softball-like stones, which we can see along the bottom here. Seeing the gravel is really, really good. That makes excellent fish spawning habitat. That's where they like to lay their reds most of the time, especially trout. We're gonna be going in with the dip net and kind of disturbing the substrate in front of it. We're gonna be collecting in this riffle habitat over here on this bank of the stream. So I'm coming on this side of the bank. Setting down my net and really picking up the substrate in front of it for a solid 30 seconds preferably. All right.
So the first thing we noticed that got swept up under the net is actually an adult caddisfly. I'm not really too sure on the specific species this guy is because there are over 1,000 species of these dudes in North America. Their life history is really varied across different species as well. Like some adult larvae eat leaves, algae, and other organic matter, whereas others are more predatory and actually feed on other aquatic invertebrates. These guys undergo a complete 4-stage metamorphosis, and the adults, such as this guy, only live for a few weeks. They also don't really eat at all during this time and are solely focused on reproduction. The next thing we noticed was this cranefly larva. There is actually quite a few of these in the net. This is a burrower type of species that primarily breaks down fallen leaves for food. The really interesting thing about these guys is that they have an open breathing system with spiracles at the end of the abdomen. This is also a very diverse species with over 500 aquatic or semi-aquatic species in North America. These guys are probably my favorite type of macroinvertebrates. This little dude is a common stonefly. They're really sensitive to pollution, so the presence of these guys indicates a healthy and happy stream. They move around by crawling and eat other invertebrates like midges and black flies. If they are in still water, they get dissolved oxygen by using their legs in a push-up fashion that generates currents over their gills. So this is definitely some type of caddisfly larvae. I'm not entirely sure on the type. I'm thinking common net spinner, but regardless, I'm going to be doing more research on caddisflies and potentially making a more in detail video about them in the future. But yeah, his legs felt a little creepy on my hand. This is a very cute aquatic earthworm. This is some kind of beetle. I think it's a water scavenger beetle. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really that good at beetles, but she's cute. Overall, I would say that was a great haul. Hunter Creek clearly supports a large variety of benthic macroinvertebrate species, which makes me really happy. There were unfortunately a couple species that we didn't get on camera, such as flatworms and mayfly larvae, but I'm really hoping that we can make another video on benthic macroinvertebrates in the future, and hopefully those species can be featured.
I think that was pretty successful.
I think that was a success. I'm really excited to get home and check out the samples, but first we have one more stop to make.
Welcome to the Truckee River. This is a fantastically interesting system that starts from the largest alpine lake in North America, Lake Tahoe, eventually terminating into Pyramid Lake in the Great Basin. Initially, the river was named by Kit Carson as the Salmon Trout River, based on the huge aboriginal Lahontan cutthroat trout population that was eventually extirpated from the system because of overharvest, non-native species introduction, and habitat fragmentation from dams and other forms of human engineering that did not account for fish passage. LCT have since been reintroduced to the watershed with regular stocking efforts from both Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe and the Lahontan National Fish Hatchery, but the population is not self-sustaining, and what little natural recruitment does occur likely has hybridization issues with non-native rainbow trout. The story of what happened to the original population of LCT in the system is not unique. Many river and lake systems throughout the United States have undergone traumatic species composition changes as a result of human influence. And this story isn't exclusive to fish either, which you are going to find out shortly.
Ooh, this one doesn't want to go in as well. There we go.
All right, what are you doing, Michelle?
So I'm putting on waders for the first time.
First time putting on waders?
Changed out of my lazy hiking pants into the kind I hold up with a belt so I can put them on.
Ooh, let's see what we
And
got here.
Faith is going to show me how to mess with the substrate and catch some more macroinvertebrates for us today.
Woo! Yeah!
Ooh, I found some shells. Ooh, there's like a little green bug in here.
Well, bring it up. Let's see what you got. Did you catch fish? Yeah.
So these invasive critters are Asian clams, which were introduced to the United States in the 1930s and have since spread across the country and can now be found in many waterways throughout. They were first observed in Lake Tahoe in 2002 and have since been spotted in the lower Truckee River where we were sampling today. Asian clams are a threat to the watershed because they excrete nutrients that stimulate algae growth, which causes water clarity to decline.
So this is a signal crayfish. there's only one type of crayfish that lives in the Truckee River, even though there's over 300 species in North America. The signal crayfish is actually invasive here. It's native to the Pacific Northwest and Idaho. So these guys have become really prevalent in river systems. They really enjoy kind of like brackish water. Once these guys establish, their populations actually explode in density because their growth rate is density dependent. And so you get these really, really big crawdads for a little bit. And once the population kind of levels out, they kind of return back to like a normal size. These guys can actually live up to 9 years, which is absolutely insane. In lower elevations like this with warm water, they mature faster, and so they're ready and sexually mature by their second summer. In Lake Tahoe, however, it takes 3 to 4 years because the water is quite a bit colder, so their growth rate is quite a bit slower. So the claw I'm holding right now is really, really good for ripping and tearing. Very strong, but he also has a smaller pair of claws for eating, chopping, finer handling. These guys will be breeding in the winter. You'll be able to tell that they're female because she'll have these sticky eggs on her exoskeleton.
So unfortunately, the majority of what we sampled in the Truckee River had at least one of these invasive species in the net each time we sampled, which is truly unfortunate and just goes to show how well these critters can truly establish themselves in a system such as this. Now, fortunately, we did see some other benthic macroinvertebrates, such as caddisfly larvae and mayfly larvae, some flatworms and aquatic earthworms, but it just goes to show that invasive species can truly make a home here. I don't think the Truckee River is ever going to be in a place, again, where it'll be completely non-native species free. I just think that's an unrealistic expectation and goal to have, but fortunately, we can use these species as examples to inform and educate people on how they truly were established here. And hopefully in the future, humans will stop creating these invasive species introduction events. We interrupt your macroinvertebrates education for education on how to catch live fish.
All right, so I'm going to teach Michelle my method for catching a fish. There's a variety of ways you can do it. Obviously, when you're reeling it as an angler, it makes sense to come up from this. Also, if you're electrofishing, it kind of stuns the fish to the surface, so it's really easy just to scoop them up. However, if you're trying to just go for catching something alive, if it's a bait fish that kind of hangs out in shallow water, a method that I like to do is to kind of come in as close as I can above the water so they don't know that I'm coming yet, and then like that. So come down on top of them, scrape in, and come up like this. You'll get a lot of sediment, but you should get the fish you're looking for.
Hell yeah. My turn. I want to practice.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so not pictured me showing Michelle, but look, they're so cute. All right, I'm gonna put them back. Cute little bait fish.
Bye.